Welcome to the Geeta Chopra Show. This is your time to heal naturally. Embrace nature's healing energy. Get back in tune with your higher self through yoga, meditation, healing foods, living in balance, healthy relationships, and harnessing the true power of prayer. You are powerful, you are loved, and you can do it. I am Geeta Chopra, and let's heal together, naturally. Welcome to this week's episode of the Geeta Chopra Show. My guest today is Mayor Marathe. He was sworn in on January 1st of this year. He has lived in West Windsor since 1994 and is a familiar figure in the small suburban town's political scene. He served 12 years on the school board, 9 as president, and then ascended to the city council last year. He has also served as a council liaison to the Affordable Housing Committee, Zoning Board, and the Parking Authority. The mayor and I recently discussed at a friend's house how important it is for our youth to start eating healthy. When I invited him on the show to discuss this, he expressed great interest. He grew up according to Ayurvedic principles in India, which go back over 5,000 years. And he did eat healthy as a school child. Today we will discuss the importance of healthy eating for youth and the opioid crisis for adults. We have a long way to go to fix both of these complex issues, but we are making substantial progress. The mayor will enlighten us on his thoughts, his plans, and his vision as well. So please join me in welcoming Mayor Marathe to the show. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, really glad to have you. Appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be here today.
Thank you.
So, my first question for you, tell me more about your progression to becoming mayor of West Windsor.
Oh, we moved here in '94. Even in college, I was always interested in public service and ran for student council as in my hostel back in India. Mm-hmm. So when we came here, we had one daughter, two daughters. In '94, my daughter was studying in kindergarten, so I said, oh, let me run for school board. I would like to contribute. I didn't win that election. I didn't win the next election. But I won the school board election on the third try. Oh. And then I served on the school board for 12 years. And that got me started. And then I thought I can do a similar job for the township as the mayor. So I decided to run for mayor in 2013. Again, I didn't win on the first try, but I'm persistent. So I ran again in 17 and then I won.
Good for you. So it sounds like we can all learn from that. Persistence does pay off.
Yes, it does. And I don't take things personally. So if I lose, I lose.
Well, that's good advice.
That's why I can, because I do it because I think I can contribute to the township. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason I do it. So if I lose, not a big deal. Life goes on. You have 50 other things you can do.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely a lot to do, right?
Right.
Great opportunities. Well, I'm really glad you did win and you're here today.
Thank you.
So we're actually going to talk about the health and the opioid crisis today and healthy eating for children in school lunches. So before we get into that, can you just tell me more about your personal belief in terms of having a healthy lifestyle?
Right. As I told you before, I'm a vegetarian. So that is by choice. It's not that I haven't eaten meat. I've eaten meat, but I don't enjoy it that much. So as a child growing up in India, we always ate only vegetarian food at home. So I'm vegetarian by choice. I believe in, as you get older, I think something happens. When I was younger, I could eat anything I want and never gain a weight. Now, even if I don't eat anything, I gain weight. So there's something that gets turned on along the way, and that happened to me. So as you get older, people are living longer. So it's even more important to eat healthy so that you are in good health and you can enjoy life that you have.
And that you have energy to be able to perform your task, your job, especially when you have such an important role in society.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see that the healthier you eat, the more energy you feel, the more energy you have.
That's right.
And it helps your brain too to function better.
And also it's a good role model for people around you, even younger people and family and the community.
Absolutely. And your kids watch what you do and they learn from watching more than what you say.
That's right.
It's important to set a good example, and I have 4 daughters, so
good for you.
It's important to set a good example.
All right. So what do you think the problem is with school lunches today, with children not, I guess they serve all kinds of food. They serve anything now, and all those packet juices, things like that.
Right. As I said, I served on the school board for 12 years, 9 of that as president. And during that time, I saw progression towards more awareness of eating healthy. During that time, the state also passed a legislation where you couldn't sell carbonated drinks during certain time period.
Okay.
So the vending machines didn't work during certain time period during the school.
What time period was that?
I think during this until during the school hour. I don't remember exactly.
Oh, so only after school.
Right. So the state became more aware. They put in more restrictions. President Obama's wife was pushing for healthy lunches. So
Yes.
there was more and more awareness among the parents and the children that eating healthy is important, and there's some changes in school lunches too.
Okay.
Now one of the things is that school lunches, some of the rules are governed by the federal government, so you are definitely needed to have certain vegetables, certain milk product in the meal.
Okay.
And it's important for the school because we have to serve certain number of meals, what is counted as meals under the federal guidelines. So during that school, during the 9 years on the school board, I have seen a progression towards awareness of healthy foods and awareness of eating healthy foods.
What about implementation, though?
It has moved along. I mean, I won't say that everything you find in cafeteria is healthy or 100% healthy. You still can find fries, you can still find pizza.
Like deep fried foods and chemical.
Deep fried foods you can still find. But if you want to eat healthy, now you have a choice. Even during school lunches, you do have a choice to eat healthy every day of the week, 5 days, every day for 5 days a week.
Did you find that more children are bringing their lunch or more children are eating at school?
A lot of children do bring their lunch from home
Okay.
because the parents prepare them, and those are necessarily healthier than buying food prepared outside, because when you prepare at home, you know exactly what ingredients you're using, how much oil you're using, whether it's fried or baked.
Oh, yes.
So that certainly helps. Bringing food from home, it helps. But still, with two parents working, significant number of kids still buy food at school.
Okay.
And the big change I have seen is that now if you want, you do have choice of healthy meals, healthy items during lunch.
Okay, well, that's great improvement, would you say?
That's a good improvement and moving in the right direction.
Now, do you think that they're making the connection with performance and what the students take in terms of food?
It certainly has. I mean, for example, if I eat too much at lunchtime, I feel sleepy.
Yes.
So if I'm taking a test in the afternoon, I definitely don't want to eat food that's healthy, and that would make me sleepy and drowsy. So I'm certain there's a certain connection between sports team, for example, insist on what you should and shouldn't eat before a game.
Okay.
It's no different for other students.
Oh yeah, from the nutrient level. Yeah.
Right.
Especially
doing
when
academics,
they're young,
that the food you eat will have a direct effect on. I mean, it's well known that if you eat sugar, you get a sugar high, and then sugar low, crash. So it is important for the kids to realize that what they should and shouldn't eat before.
There's a lot of sugar, and I think sugar is the root of all Western disease. And there's a lot of sugar laden into the food in different forms, like high fructose corn syrup, just the starches, chemicals. There's just too much sugar in the food, I think, for the children.
Yes, I had a friend on the school board who told me she was insistent that get rid of sugar and your health will improve 200%.
I'll support that.
Yeah. So she made me aware of the role sugar plays.
The role, and I think it's becoming more and more known now, and there's going to be a huge turn even still to come.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, what do you think the main thing we can do is as a society? Is it just spreading awareness, coaching?
I think habits are formed when the kids are young, and we are creatures of habit. So I think it's important to start the kids young, stress on them importance of healthy eating. And I mean, I was reading somewhere, somebody said, oh, if I eat chocolate today, I didn't die today, so it's okay to eat tomorrow. That's not how it works.
That's a dangerous way to think.
That's a dangerous kind of thing. So that's why we need to make kids aware that it has long-term effects, not just because you ate
you have to think of long-term consequences.
Right.
I mean,
and nothing happened to you today doesn't mean that it was good for you, or it's okay to do that day after day after day.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to start the kids young and make them aware that this is long-term. And when you're young, it's always difficult to think that you will ever turn 40 and you will have to worry about weight. And when you're young, I mean, I was young once, and you feel invincible. You think that nothing is, you're going to stay just like that, and nothing is going to happen to you. But it's important to let them know that no matter what, time doesn't stop for anybody. They are going to get older, and the better food, eating habits they developed in younger age, the better it is, and the better and longer life they will have.
Yeah, and they say food can be your best medicine, right? And medicine is your food. That's a famous quote. So it's like it can also prevent a lot of the Western diseases, and because now people have all kinds of things. Like you said, in their 40s, people are getting what people used to get in their 60s, and there's just so much pain and suffering out there. But a lot can be prevented just by eating a healthy meal or eating, having a healthy lifestyle from the time you're younger, like you said. Not starting when you're 55, but if you start in your teens or, like you said, high school lunches, and sort of building from there, then you have a strong backbone, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's better to start when you can than when you have to, because the doctor tells you that
it's too
you
late.
need to lose 20 pounds in two years. So
and then you're working kind of uphill. And,
right.
So what did you eat as a child in school?
Oh, when I was a child, my mom gave me a tiffin every day.
So home-cooked meal.
A home-cooked meal.
That's great.
And 99% of kids in my class got home-cooked meal.
That's good. Indian parents, right?
Indian parents and Indian. It was very rare. I mean, it was very rare to go. I mean, we had one very small canteen, and it was very rare for anybody to go in canteen and buy. It has to be a very, very special occasion. To go into canteen and buy, or even go out and buy.
Well, the culture there is also different, right? They don't necessarily eat out in India. It's considered a special occasion.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, I often comment that to my kids that when I was their age, maybe we ate once a whole year out of home, maybe one.
Maybe,
and that was a special occasion. Otherwise, you always ate at home.
That's
you
good.
always ate foods that your mom prepared.
And
so
you know what's in
what
it. It's the same natural ingredients like the turmeric and all the healthy spices, the Ayurvedic spices of life, right?
Correct. I mean,
yeah, that'll go a long way, I think. Okay, so why don't we talk now a little bit more about the opioid crisis on the other side. So that's for the children eating healthy. And now we have the adults who are, some of them addicted to painkillers, and they just can't get out of the cycle. They don't even know why they're in it. So what would you like to do about this, or what's your comment?
See, that's a huge issue for the communities, because the cost to the society is very high. When somebody is addicted to opioid, it doesn't affect just that person, but it affects everybody around them, and the treatment cost affects the society. And recently it has become a big crisis, because people are overdosing on opioid, they are getting dependent, and it often starts innocently, because sometimes...
Yeah, how does it start? You have a car accident, or you have some pain? Or?
Absolutely, and the doctor prescribes something, and you take it as a pain medicine, and you don't think it's addictive, and it's proven to be extremely addictive,
and dangerous,
addictive than we realize at that time, and then people get dependent on it and needs to have a prescription just to make it that. So again, there's I'm not a medical professional, so I don't know I don't have any easy answers to fix the problem. But again, just having awareness. First time you take a pain medication, you have to be aware that it has a potential to cause dependency. And
other damage to the organs, to the stomach. I'm sure the kidneys, the liver has to process all of that on a daily basis for years.
Oh, absolutely. And again, I don't know if the pain level in modern generation has gone down compared to my parents or my grandparents when there were no drugs. So if somebody hurt, you just manage to live with it.
Or what about natural stuff? Like, CNN said opioids bind to receptors in the brain and spinal cord, disrupting pain signals. They also activate the reward areas of the brain by releasing the hormone dopamine, creating a feeling of euphoria or a natural high. So do you think that there's a natural alternative to this, for example, acupuncture? Can that not release endorphins?
Yes, acupuncture can certainly work. I mean, I have friends who have used that, and that has been effective to them. So certainly people should try that. Now, fortunately for me, I have never had to take a opioid yet in my life.
Yes.
So I can't speak from personal experience, but I know people who have used acupuncture and who have used acupuncture very effectively, or it has helped them.
Even for
a
it's
great
physical
deal.
and mental pain. Acupuncture is kind of more comprehensive. It works
Correct.
for both. Yeah.
Absolutely, and it has been practiced. It's not something new.
No.
It has been practiced and it has been proven effective over the years.
Well, like you said, even before in your day when they didn't have painkillers, or even way before, like for our grandparents, what did they do?
Correct.
And acupuncture was around back then.
Correct.
So not opioids.
Yes.
Yeah, it's I think it's just getting the message out there that people don't want to believe it, or they can't believe it, or like you said, the addiction. So because it creates a mental dependency, so they just can't break away from that. They think they need it more than they actually do. Do you think that's part of the problem?
Oh, that's absolutely part of the problem,
Yeah.
that people grow dependent on it, and then the brain acts in a strange way, and it affects your brain and makes you sort of creates a craving for it.
Okay.
And creates dependency on it. So,
And do you think doctors are responsible or partly responsible for that?
Yes, I mean they have had studies where they have found that certain doctors prescribes opioids more easily than other doctors, and given what we know now about the addictive nature of opioids, doctors should be very careful and prescribe it as a option of last resort rather than an option of first resort, that oh, you have pain, just take this pain medicine. I mean, if we manage to find other ways of coping with pain, it will solve a lot of problems that are created by the dependency on opioids.
Now, if that's the case, but it looks like doctors are not, because maybe they have another incentive to prescribe these prescriptions and keep them going and refilling them.
It is possible, but again, I mean, see,
not to be a cynic.
No, but now most people go through insurance companies, so insurance company knows who is taking what kind of medicine, and they can play an important role in reaching to the people and saying, hey, you're taking so many painkillers and this has these side effects and there's a danger that you will get dependent on it, and educate the public. Nobody starts by saying, hey, I would like to get dependent on a drug, right?
That's
it
true.
slowly happens unknowingly. Nobody does it on purpose.
Right.
So just generating an awareness when you first take the pill that this is something that you should take it as a last resort, and you should stop as soon as you possibly can.
Right.
I think will go a long way.
And I think that goes back to the role of the doctor, because who else can actually provide that information? Society can do that, but when you go to see the doctor one-on-one, I think they know the background on these drugs, they have experience prescribing them and the side effects and ramifications thereof, so they should actually tell the patient, it's provide the education.
Oh, absolutely.
The
And
foundation.
you need, at least unless you're cheating, you need a prescription to get it. So it's not as if I can walk off in Walgreens or CVS and buy it off the counter.
Yeah.
Somebody has to examine me and determine that I really need the drug, and that's the only solution to my ailment, and then prescribe that in a limited role.
Okay. Now, you mentioned how society also pays the price for this, not just the individual and or his or her family. How does society pay the price for people who are addicted to painkillers?
Because I mean, they lead to a lot of early deaths on overdosing. I mean, that is and strangely, younger folks are as much affected as older folks. I mean, you wouldn't feel the kids would need to be dependent on opioid because they're young.
You mean teenagers or younger kids?
Yeah, the younger kids.
Oh.
I mean, you hear all the time that the kids are getting, I'm really not sure how they are getting it, but they are overdosing on it, and that's causing death, and that is a price that the society pays for treating the dependency on opioid, because once you find out somebody is dependent on opioid, you try to get them off of the dependency, and that's the price that the society pays.
And also maybe crimes related to that.
Crimes related because you need money to buy the opioids.
Yes, wow. And what about all the morphine-related deaths? Do you think that's going to wake people up? Because morphine can kill you quite easily, right? If you're in the hospital and there's more morphine-related deaths than other opioids. So.
Which is very true. But again, as I said, I'm not a medical professional, so I can't make comments about who should get it, what situations you should get it, but we should treat all these drugs as anything that's not natural as will have some side effect. I mean, there's nothing that's not natural that doesn't have side effect. It has, and we should be aware of what the side effects are, both the short-term side effects and the long-term side effects, and determine if that's something that is absolutely necessary and that's in our best interest. I mean, philosophically, I usually don't take any drugs. Very rarely I take drugs, and touch wood, my kids have been healthy.
Yes,
Relatively healthy. I mean, my youngest twins didn't miss a school till 11th grade.
Okay.
They went through kindergarten through 11th grade without missing a single day because they were not sick.
Okay, good.
And strangely, we never went to the doctor because it's a funny story. Once they had to go in 10th grade. They were enrolled in a summer camp, and the summer camp needed a doctor's certificate. So when we went to the doctor pulled out a chart and realized that she hadn't been to him since 2nd grade. Had never been to, because her shots were done and she didn't get sick, so we never went to the doctor. So I've been fortunate in that regard.
And that's how it should be, right?
That's how it should be. Yeah.
So what did you do? What can other people learn from you? What can other parents or families learn?
I don't know, but I usually always tell the kids that don't take medicine unless you absolutely have to. I mean, that's not the...
That's good advice.
That's not the first resort. That's the last resort. If you are really sick and can't do without it, I mean, little aches and pains you should manage, and you eat healthy, exercise, play outside. Don't sit in front of computer all day.
Yeah.
And
so be active as well. Movement is the best medicine.
That would be fine. And being happy with life helps too.
So your attitude, your perspective is also important.
Right. I mean, I always say, why complain? Nobody listens to your complaint anyway. So be happy. So that always helps.
And what about if you get the common cold or a small virus? What would someone like you do?
I mean, usually you just stick it out because it's a matter of time. I mean, it's known that there's no real medicine for common cold.
Yeah.
It is known. We take it just to suppress the symptoms rather than to cure ourselves. It's a matter of time, and one of the things is the body's mechanism of telling you to slow down.
That's true.
Body's mechanism
so it's a message
of telling
almost.
you, that something is wrong with you and you need to slow down.
Maybe
take
too much stress, or you're overworking, or
take some rest. Right?
Yeah.
So usually, I mean, I try not to take it because all it's doing is just suppressing the symptoms rather than curing what the issue is. And if somebody comes up with a medicine for common cold, the person will be very rich.
That's true.
But
there's a lot of different products out there, but they're all just symptom suppressants.
Absolutely.
I think that's what everybody's trying to do, though. They always want to, suppress the symptoms. Nobody wants to stick it out, write it out, and take the time, because nobody has time anymore, and that's part of the problem.
Which is part of the problem.
Yeah. So it's you fight it out. Your immune system gets stronger every time you fight a cold.
Right.
You can take vitamin C to help. I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, since we are talking about kids, one of the things I would like to mention is that recently has happened is vaping, as I was talking to you before.
Yes, what is vaping?
Vaping is, they are electronic cigarettes or nicotine delivered without smoke. And now these devices are available. They don't need a prescription. They are not regulated by the FDA. So these things are available off Amazon.
What are they for?
They are just to get high.
So they're not cigarettes, or they?
They are not cigarettes, but they deliver nicotine
to
the kids. So kids take it, and if somebody smokes, you can tell because there's a smoke and it smells. The new vaping devices are, and the parents don't even know. I mean, 5-6 weeks ago, because my kids are grown, 5-6 weeks ago, I didn't know what vaping was.
I didn't know until you told me today.
Right. Because when somebody mentioned, I said, what is that? And then I started looking, and that's a huge problem now, because in schools, kids bring these devices, they look like a flash drive, so nobody suspects
and
anything.
They smoke from the flash drive.
They can smoke from the flash drive. You can just bend down and
in class
inhale, and nobody knows. There's no smoke, nothing, and it delivers more nicotine than a cigarette does.
And you can just buy this, or do you have to be 18?
No, you don't. I mean, people buy it off Amazon, and sadly now some kids buy it off Amazon as a bulk purchase and then retail it in schools or other facilities, and they have found kids as young as 4th and 5th graders doing that. And I think parents have to be aware. Parents have to be aware what the kids are buying off Amazon using their credit card.
Well, that should be illegal in a sense that you can't buy it unless you're 18, because you can't buy cigarettes unless you're 18. Am I
Which
correct?
is true. I mean, they should be regulated by FDA. There should be
Yeah.
awareness among parents, and there should be
Yeah.
awareness about. So we are thinking. I mean, some townships like Princeton and Montgomery have ordinances against vaping. West Windsor is thinking about it. One of the councilwomen, Jyotika Bari, has
Okay.
mentioned that, and she's working on an ordinance so that we can regulate stores who sell these vaping devices. Right now, if you sell cigarettes or you are regulated by the township. But if you sell vaping devices, there is no regulation on the books.
Oh.
So, and a lot of parents, like you mentioned, you didn't know about it. A lot of parents are not aware of that.
So it's good to spread the awareness. I'm glad you brought it up today, so
Oh.
maybe we can kind of create more of an awareness around that. Parents should
Absolutely,
know.
and parents should keep an eye on what the kids are buying on online and using their credit card.
Wow.
Because most parents don't even know what it is.
Because it just comes in the mail and it looks like a
just
USB.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Well, that's definitely creative. Whoever created that is
right.
probably making a lot of money.
Most parents don't know what it is,
That's-
and they come in flavors. They come in
Oh, my
various
goodness.
kinds of things. So
And to make it attractive.
it makes it
and
very attractive to younger kids and
Wow.
younger generation, and
very sad.
it's very easy to do, very difficult to get caught. So that's why it's important for parents to be very aware of what is happening. And again, the most frightening part, it delivers more nicotine than a cigarette does. So we were trying to.
That's bad, actually.
It's very bad. I mean, we were trying to
system.
prevent a second-hand smoke and develop electronic cigarette, and this is an unintended consequence of that it has make the problem worse
It's
and
worse.
more undetectable.
Secondhand smoke would be better.
Well, in a sense, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not good to have second-hand
Yeah.
smoke, but that is preferable. At least you know somebody's smoking.
Oh,
With
yes.
this, you don't even know a young kid smoking. You don't smell. You don't.
Wow.
Their breath doesn't smell, and in a very short amount of time, they get a lot of substance that they shouldn't have.
Wow. Well, that's why we need people like you to spread the message,
Yeah.
bring these things up and make a positive impact in society.
Yeah.
So we're going to close now, but do you have anything you want to say to the youth of America in terms of having a healthy lifestyle?
I mean, I would tell, I was young once, and I'll say the same thing. When you're 18 and younger, you feel that you are invincible and nothing is going to happen to you. But trust me, you will get older. So it's time to develop good habits when you're young. And then the habits carry you rest of your life. It's very difficult to change when you're 30 and 40 because the habits are already formed. Unless there's a life-changing event, the habits don't change. So I would highly recommend you develop good habits when you're younger, and so you can enjoy a long and healthy life.
Good. Well, words of the wise.
Yeah.
That's really good advice to live by. And thank you so much for being here today. It was
Thank
a
you
great
for
honor
having
to
me.
have you.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and see you next week. Thank you.